The Hudson River, 2 years ago. We had classified intelligence that a new type of metal gear was scheduled for transport. The whole thing stank, but our noses had been out in the cold too long.
He's right on schedule. He'll know soon enough.
This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak point.
Everything going okay?
The stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
The private sector's not so bad, is it? Privacy guaranteed?
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Mei Ling's not so bad. That reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again? Give her a message from me. Someone will find out, sooner or later. She's better off assuming it's sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know how the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
All Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
This new one seems to have been designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious, anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method. We don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Metal Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill. We're not terrorists.
Very good. Don't you forget that you're part of Philanthropy now, an anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
Recognized, but still fringe, Otacon.
All right, let's look at your gear. Your weapon is a tranquilizer gun converted from a Beretta M92F.
M9.
It's a little hard to work with because you have to reload after each shot since the slide locks.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds and last for hours. You can take down an elephant with that thing. Check out the laser sighting, too. The effects of the anesthetic round will vary depending on what part of the body is hit. We're talking about a difference of tens of seconds between hitting limbs, chest, or head. As for the equipment... Hey, Snake! Cigarettes? What's wrong with you?
It's kind of a lucky charm.
You haven't read the Surgeon General's warning, have you? Here's the digital camera. Works almost the same way as your old one.
They don't look armed.
Hey, Earth to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the Pentagon's classified files myself.
No traces?
Oh, please, I'm too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea. People can get a clear view of the water from Riverside, too.
The water line is too high. According to the navigational plans, this ship should have discharged its cargo upriver.
It's in there, no doubt about it.
The military trains you to watch for threats from the stern on a boat. That's SOP for counter-terror ops, too. Security should be tighter.
You worry too much.
Where's the target?
Satellite surveillance is a major international pastime these days. I'd say the cargo holds, safely below the deck. Do you see the entrance to the holds?
Looks like there are a few entryways into the crew quarters. The chopper. What? Looks like we're not the only ones after Metal Gear tonight.
Is that a chopper I just heard?
Affirmative. Probably another cavalry. It's their game. Hijack?
They're probably targeting the ship's controls.
Otacon, how many men do you need to take over a tanker of this size?
The ship is run by a computer, so I'd say about 18 people.
AKS 74U. Russians?
You sure?
No marine barber touched that head of hair. I'm transmitting a photo. Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
Looks like the tanker's theirs now. K-60 Kasatka.
Kasatka? Kamov chopper, right? Killer whale.
We need to get a fix on who they are.
Judging by their transport, aren't they some kind of military commandos?
Not necessarily. It could be the KA-62, the civil model.
Look, Snake, all we need is the photographic evidence of Metal Gear. As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing wide open. So no pyrotechnics, okay?
All right. I'll do my best.
This isn't like Shadow Moses. Reach me if anything happens. The frequency's 141.12.
How can I check in and save my progress?
I'll do it. There's a frequency set aside for it. 140.96. Sorry, but no Mei Ling this time. Call me on the codec when you want to save.
Got it.
I'll be waiting just past the Verrazano Bridge. You need to be off that ship by then.
I'll be in touch.
Push the action button near a scalable railing to hang off the other side. This is called hanging. You can use it to move around, hide, and even maneuver around an enemy's back. You can move the left stick or use the L2 and R2 buttons to move left and right while hanging. When you're ready to pull yourself up, just push the action button again. A grip gauge appears below the life gauge during hanging. The grip gauge indicates how tightly you're holding on, and steadily decreases as long as you're in hanging mode. When the grip gauge goes to 0, you won't be able to hold on anymore. You need to hoist yourself up before you fall off. Push the crawl button while hanging to jump down straight below. If the ground is too far below, you'll lose some life. In some places, you won't make it at all. Be careful of that. Snake, switch to first-person view and look at the upper decks. See the sentries? Take them out in first-person view before they see you. Change to first-person view with a weapon selected. Once you aim your weapon with the weapon button, you're ready to attack in first-person view. Using the first-person attack allows you to shoot high or low. You can aim for the enemy's head or even feet. The L2 and R2 buttons let you strafe during first-person attacks. You can crouch, too, with the crawl button. Once you've mastered all the moves, you'll be able to do things like jump out from concealment, fire at a target, and then drop out of the enemy's view again. What you're wielding right now is a converted Beretta M92F, designed to fire tranquilizer rounds. A direct hit will knock the target unconscious. Think of those rounds as tiny syringes. The impact of the round causes the mixing of two chemicals in the shell. The resulting gas compresses a tiny piston and injects the tranquilizer in the bullet's tip into the target's skin. The tranquilizer's effects are felt at different times depending on where the bullet lands. A head or heart shot will take effect immediately, but a round that hits somewhere like feet or hands will take a while. Use the first-person view attack for maximum accuracy. The gun is fitted with a suppressor, so there's no need to worry about alerting the enemy with the noise. But since it is a tranquilizer gun, the M9 has its limitations. All it can do is knock the enemy unconscious. Keep that in mind. Snake, you need to get to the bridge on the top level of the infrastructure. First, find a door that leads into the tanker's interior and infiltrate the ship. Snake, don't let the enemy spot you. Once you've been discovered by a sentry, he'll call in reinforcements and there will be an attack. Even you're no match for that level of organized assault. They have better weapons too, remember? We aren't terrorists, okay? Avoid unnecessary confrontations and go for total stealth, all right? As soon as you're spotted by an enemy soldier, he'll call for backup on his radio. The search party that's going to show up as a result is a tough bunch. For one thing, they have better equipment, like body armor. But the main thing is that they're highly trained in search and destroy types of activities. They'll come as a team and attack as a team. Don't try to take them straight on. If you're spotted, you need to stop the sentry from calling for backup. Take him down before he has the chance to use the radio. You can also break out the chaff grenade and interfere with the message transmission to prevent any alerts from being issued. If you take out the radio, the sentry will have no way of calling for help. Radios are worn behind the right hip. You should be able to target it in first-person view. If he does manage to call for backup, get yourself in deep hiding before they arrive. After pushing the crawl button in hanging mode and falling, if you see a good handhold, try pushing the action button. If you hit it just right, you should be able to grab on. It won't matter if your direction's off a little bit. Experiment with it. Push the action button near a scalable railing to hang off the other side. This is called hanging. You can use it to... Do you want to save, Snake? Snake, you of course know the saying, one for all for one?
What is this all of a sudden?
Oh, I figured you'd need a lot of motivation, so I came prepared. It's from the Three Musketeers. The book, not the candy bar. Anyway, it means that if you go up against everyone by yourself, they'll gang up on you too, I think. Since you're on your own on that ship, you need to take this to heart and avoid confrontations. How was that? Just like the old days, huh?
Almost reminds me of Mei Ling. But you sure you got it right?
Of course. And I'll teach you a lot more of these. You can count on it.
Great.
Snake, it looks like that door can't be opened from the deck. You can infiltrate the ship through other doors. Snake, you need to get to the bridge on the top level of the infrastructure. First, find a door that leads into the tanker's interior and infiltrate the ship. Time to save? Okay, there's a saying that goes, even a bird on high dies a glutton's death, as do the fish of the deeps. The lesson is, don't be greedy. The fish that belonged to a family called the deeps died from overfeeding, and so did a bird that got high on something, probably fermented fruit.
Okay, you say so.
I do, Snake. Don't take unnecessary risks just because you're greedy for more items. Remember the Deep family's fish. Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Okay, see you, Snake. Snake, go through that door into the ship's interior. Push the action button down in front of the door and wait until the door opens before letting go. If you need to open the door faster, hit the action button repeatedly while you turn the handle. Make sure you keep doing it until the door's open. If it's about waist high, you'll be able to climb up or over things with the action button. Keep that in mind. When you're flattened against a surface behind a corner, you're in corner view. You'll be able to survey the area without exposing yourself. The corner view lets you take a look ahead with the L2 and R2 buttons, or you can jump out with your weapon ready. Take advantage of all the action. According to intelligence, this new model was designed to combat all the clone models of Metal Gear floating around in the world. Ocelot sold the Metal Gear specs to anyone with hard cash after he survived Shadow Moses.
And raked in enough money to buy a decent-sized country in the process.
But was money really Ocelot's end objective?
You think he had a deeper plan?
I do. Nothing definite, but acquiring a large sum of money is always a good starting point for another project. Anyway, every country that paid off Ocelot is racing to produce its own bipedal tank, one that can launch the so-called invisible nuclear warhead. If the whole world has a Metal Gear, the military dominance of the U.S. will disappear. In a world where Metal Gear has become commonplace, the only way to regain the upper hand is to possess a weapon even more powerful than Metal Gear.
And that means a new Metal Gear.
Exactly. The arms race must go on. Push the L2 or R2 button while in corner view to move your head and take a quick look in that direction. You'll be able to see farther in corner view, but there's a greater chance of being discovered. Keep that in mind. Move the right stick while in corner view to look in that direction. The difference between this and using left step and right step buttons is that you won't be exposing yourself to possible enemy fire. At the same time, because you're staying in the same position, your range of vision is more limited. If you have a weapon selected while in corner view, push the weapon button to jump out of concealment and aim your weapon. You can use this while you're standing or crouching. It should help during gunfights. Bodies can be moved to another location by dragging. First, make sure no weapon is selected. Then push the weapon button near the body to grab it. As long as you have a hold on the body, you'll be able to drag it. Let go of the weapon button when you're done. It's a bad idea to leave enemies where they've fallen. Hide the bodies to make sure no one sees them. The Metal Gear that the tanker is transporting is being developed under Marine Corps jurisdiction. But I've also heard a rumor that the Navy is working on its own Metal Gear.
Any more info on the Navy's model?
I tried to hack some out, but security was too tight. There's a lot of money being allocated, that's for sure. But every one of my investigations takes me to one name, then hits a brick wall. The name is the Patriots.
Who are they?
I wish I knew. I have no idea if this is an individual or an organization even. But once we expose the presence of this Marine Corps Metal Gear to the world, maybe that will shake the Patriots out of a tree. This mission is partly about that too. I recommend you hide the enemy's body as soon as you've taken them down. The tranquilized and unconscious enemies will wake up sooner or later. As for soldiers you've killed, the body will become too stiff to move in a short while. Keep that in mind. You can also hide the enemy's body in a locker. All you have to do is open the locker and drag the body there. When the photos are in, we'll put them online and blow this whole thing wide open on the web.
Don't you think that the authorities will just shut us down?
Probably, but it won't matter. There'll be mirror sites spawning within minutes after those images go up. We won't even have to ask. People will be grabbing the pictures. There's no way anyone can stop it. Information has a life of its own, and as long as it lasts, it'll keep existing, even if it has to change its form or location.
Life?
Yeah, the desire of people to learn, the demand for data.
That's called idle curiosity in my book.
Everyone's got some of that, and sometimes it can pave the way for truth. That's what I believe. Snake, if you sustain damage from enemy attacks, it could increase your chances of capture. The bloodstains would lead them right to you, and that's another reason you should stay away from trouble as much as possible. If your life gauge is down to the point where it's red, the bleeding won't stop. As long as you're bleeding, your life gauge will keep dropping gradually. Besides that, the bloodstains could put the enemy on your trail. The only way to stop the bleeding for good is to let your body recover until the life gauge is green. Rations are the best way to do that. Try to crouch down or assume crawl position and stay still while you're bleeding. Your life will recover bit by bit. I'd recommend that you stay in hiding until the bleeding stops, if possible. Snake, the M9's anesthetic rounds have different effects depending on where it hits. If you manage to land them on the head or the heart area, the enemy will go down immediately. If it's hands or feet, it may take a while for the anesthetic to take effect. Try using the first-person view to aim with higher accuracy. Aim the gun and push the L1 button to automatically lock onto the target. You can use this feature from first-person view or from top view as well. Push the crawl button as you're running to go into a tumble and a forward roll. Make good use of it, maybe when you need to move from cover to cover quickly. If you tilt the left stick at a smaller angle, you'll be able to walk more slowly and stealthily. Speed isn't everything. Try moving over noisy surfaces this way. You can hold someone at gunpoint by getting behind his back with your gun ready. What you choose to do with a hostage, making no resistance after that, is up to you. You can aim the handgun with the weapon button, then lower it without firing if you let go of the button slowly. It saves ammunition, and besides, it could be useful after you've disarmed an enemy at gunpoint. These aren't sentries you're dealing with. They're searching for you, and they know you don't want to be found. You can't make some feeble attempt at concealment. Make sure you're completely hidden in some place they wouldn't think of searching. Whenever you see an item box, you should acquire it. Take a closer look to see what the item is. When you take out an enemy, move his body out of the way and check for an item box. Don't leave it behind. Snake, when I have something urgent to tell you, I'll raise you on the codec. When you see the call sign, hit the select button to receive, all right? You'll be less likely to be spotted in the dark, but this won't work during a clearing, so I recommend you try something else. Snake, in some locations, the lighting makes your shadow longer and more noticeable. The enemy might spot your shadow, so you want to watch out. Turns and corners are especially dangerous, but the same holds for the enemy. If you spot someone's shadow ahead, you can avoid unnecessary risks. Don't break things if you can help it. Any sign of infiltration will put the enemy on a lookout. Exercise caution. Even if you've successfully thrown the enemy off your trail, don't ever relax your guard once you've been spotted. They'll be looking for you, and security will be tighter. Don't underestimate what you're up against. If you're spotted and it comes down to an exchange of gunfire, don't stand out in the open. Find cover ASAP. Strafe and stretch up from your concealed position to get a good shot on target while in first-person view. But if they come at you in droves, even you won't be able to fend them off. You need to avoid discovery at all costs. The handgun ammunition and other live rounds have different effects depending on where the bullet hits. If you hit the hand, the enemy won't be able to use it, and a round to the leg and feet will take away their mobility. If you manage to land them on the head or the heart area, the enemy will go down immediately. Destroy the radio on their right hip to the back to prevent the enemy from calling for backup. Use the first-person view when you need to aim accurately. Snake, don't just take out enemies and leave them there. That's a bad idea. Finding their dead friends on the ground will probably make sentries raise an alarm. Once you've dealt with someone, put the body somewhere out of sight. The reinforcements are all wearing body armor. It'll take several shots before the rounds do any damage to the protected regions of the body. But only a single headshot is needed. Aim well while attacking in first-person view.
As long as you have no weapon selected, you can throw an enemy with the weapon button and the left stick. Just get in close and hit those controls at the same time.
They'll be down on the ground afterwards, and you may even be able to knock them unconscious. The other attack option when you're unarmed is the chokehold.
Move in close to the enemy from behind and push the weapon button without moving the left stick.
Hit the weapon button repeatedly to break the enemy's neck. Keep it pushed down if you want to move around and drag him away with you. Remember, you can only do this from the back. You can't perform a chokehold while facing someone. Be careful.
Move the left stick toward a wall and keep it there to flatten yourself against the wall.
Push the punch button while in that position to knock on the wall and create a diversion. If you plan carefully, you'll be able to lure sentries away from their posts. When you're springing up from hanging mode with the action button, you can use the momentum to knee someone. If you see an enemy walking near the railings, give it a try. Select the grenade when you take a peek. You can then use the weapon button to throw the grenade while taking cover behind objects. If you get lucky, you could seize an item from someone after you hold them up. There's some items you can only acquire from hold-ups. If you've got the time, try it out.
Move the left stick toward a wall and keep it there to flatten yourself against the wall.
Push the punch button while in that position to knock on the wall and create a diversion. If you plan carefully, you'll be able to lure sentries away from their posts. Snake, that door opens out onto the deck. You still have to get to the bridge to find out where this transport is headed. Go up! Snake, that door opens out onto the deck. You still have to get to the bridge to find out where this transport is headed. Go up! Oh, Snake, you want to save? Another Chinese proverb. Those who look to the heavens prosper. Those who defy it are no more. Do you know this one? The meaning here is... hold on a sec. That you can only survive as long as you're a part of the natural order of things. You remember pre-ripped jeans? Manufacturers thought that just because people loved old, broken-in jeans, they would want to buy new jeans that looked old. So they purposefully...
What do jeans have to do with nature and order?
Denim should fray and rip on its own, naturally, right? Some designers tried to go against that, and no one bought them. The earnings report from that fiscal year is enough of a proof.
Earnings?
Time to save? Hang in there. In some locations, the lighting makes your shadow longer and more noticeable. Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship is headed. The bridge is on the top level. Go up. You want to save, Snake? Hey, Snake, what's hardest won, most easily lost? It's time, get it? Amazing how relevant these Chinese proverbs still are. Once the moment's gone, it's gone. Except for daylight savings time, of course. That extra hour to do anything you like with every autumn. Gotta love it. Then again, you lose an hour every spring, so I guess the proverbs are right. Wow, they thought of everything.
Did they even have daylight savings back then?
Of course not. They knew how to save time. We're the ones that need to be tricked into it.
Yeah, but you said...
The moment never returns, Snake. Let's not waste it on idle questions.
Okay.
Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship... Time to save? The Chinese have a saying, those who are lost never question a path, and a drowning man doubts not the shallows. And it means that you need to make use of other people's help, otherwise you could be in trouble. If you're lost, you don't even know whether a road you come across is a right one. And, what's the difference between shallow and deep if you've already drowned, right? Anyway, the point is that help is always a good thing to accept. So make good use of the codec.
Look, this stuff seems nothing like what Mei Ling used to talk about.
Hey, she couldn't do better herself.
Ugh.
there.
Snake, those pipes you see along the wall and ceiling are steam conduits. They're thin enough to penetrate with gunfire. Don't touch the steam. One of those blasts from the hole will burn your skin off. You may be able to use it as a trap of some sort, though. Snake? You can aim the handgun with the weapon button, then lower it without firing it. Push the L2. Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Okay, Snake. Stay out of trouble. Snake, you need to get to the bridge on top of the superstructure. Get back inside the ship and head upstairs. You can aim the handgun. Oh, Snake, you want to save? Okay, see you, Snake. Snake, there's a surveillance camera in place. Once you're in its field of view, an alarm will go off. You can't afford to be seen. You can also use the chaff grenade to set up some electronic interference. The camera will be ineffective for a while. There's a blind spot right beneath the camera. Use it to buy some time. Snake, there's a surveillance camera in place. Once you're in its field... Snake. Do you want to save, Snake? Okay, Snake. Stay out of trouble. Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship is headed. The bridge is on the top level. Go up. Time to save? Okay, see you, Snake. That must be the mess hall.
It's pretty small considering the size of the ship.
I guess modern tankers are so automated that you only need a crew of about 20. That's not a lot to feed. There's a lot of things there, but make sure you don't disturb anything and leave traces. The enemy might notice. Snake, if you sustain damage from enemy attacks, it could increase your chances of capture. The bloodstains would lead them right to you, and that's another reason you should stay away from trouble as much as possible. Oh, Snake, you want to save? Hang in there.
Snake, did you find out where that ship is headed?
I'm looking at it. 35 degrees longitude, latitude around 58.
More than 500 miles off the coast of the Bermudas, out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the prototype is ready for solo testing. It's basically combat-worthy. That area is outside the Second Fleet's operational range, too. It must be a standalone Marine Corps project, which means this prototype Metal Gear must be designed for independent deployment, without any naval assistance. Anyway, analysis can wait till later. Snake, you need to go down to the holds and locate the actual metal... There's something about that soldier who was standing outside the infrastructure. I think you should check it out. Use the hatch on the port side of the infrastructure to get out onto the navigational deck. That's where you need to go. So that's the Ka-60 Kasatka, a multi-purpose military helicopter built by Kamov, the Russian aerospace firm. It adapts to a variety of missions: troop and weapons transport, medevac, target marking for attack choppers, even all-weather surveillance missions. It uses Fenestron-type tail rotors. That's what makes the distinct rotor sound that you picked up. It is a Russian helicopter, but we can't be sure that the hijackers are Russian military. After all, Kamov did make a civilian version, the Ka-62. And there's also the Ka-64, the export model. This is the bridge, but it's not just a place where you steer the ship. In a modern tanker, navigational, engine control, communication, and all other major operational functions are consolidated in the bridge. The ship is autopiloted via a global positioning satellite system. This is a precision instrument we're talking about here, so it's probably best to leave it alone. So, you've got rations now. These are military food supplies and allow you to recover some life with use. If it is equipped in advance, the ration will automatically be used and life will be regained when you receive damage. You can select it in the window and push the confirmation button to use the item on the spot. Rations were designed to be carried and eaten on the field. They're all about functionality and calories. They use special freeze-drying methods developed by the NROC. They're compact, portable, and last for weeks. Snake, in some locations, the lighting makes your shadow longer and more noticeable. Do you want to save, Snake? Okay, see you, Snake.
Control room, communications, and engine room are under control. All entry and exit points to the tanker hold secured. Infrared sensors placed and operational.
Good work. Are the explosives in place?
Yes, they are all planted.
Listen, once we have what we came for, the tanker will be scuttled.
And the vehicle's pilot?
He's the only one who underwent the VR training. No one else can do it.
Are you sure you can trust him?
Your part in the mission is complete. You are to leave at once.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm, pale as death. I have a bad feeling about this mission. You swore this to me, that you would leave the unit once the mission was complete. Do not worry, this is a country of liberty.
No, this is where I belong, with the unit. I have nowhere else to go. Father, I want to stay and fight.
There is no choice to make here, Olga. Need I remind you that you are carrying my grandchild? You will be on the helicopter out of here now.
Damn it.
Freeze! Hands over your head, now! Toss your gun overboard, slowly. A woman. Show your face.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
We are nomads, wanderers.
I said don't move.
Americans. But you shoot women too.
I'm a nomad too. What else do you have there? Take the knife and toss it. Not there. Toss it overboard. Hold that position. Now, turn around.
You know what you're doing. It stopped raining. Not too shabby, is it? New York, I mean. And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise. You a Spetsnaz?
I think we deserve a little credit. No one's ever dodged that shot of mine. But no one gets lucky twice, either.
Snake, you're not the only one with a gun. If you don't take cover, you'll get hurt. Hide behind something. She may be hiding too, but you have a clear shot whenever she decides to attack. Use the first-person view attack. Snake, she's shooting from concealment. You should use the first-person view attack. Push the R1 button to change to first-person view. Then use the weapon button to raise the gun, and you can attack from that viewpoint. Push the L2 and R2 buttons while in first-person view to strafe left and right. Push the L2 and R2 buttons at the same time to stretch up on your toes while still in first-person view. These moves can be useful. Snake, use the corner view to watch for a chance to attack while hidden. Push the R2 or L2 button while in corner view to take quick looks out. You can also move the right stick while in corner view to survey other directions. If you have a weapon selected, push the weapon button while in corner view to jump out from concealment and aim your weapon. Your best opportunity will be when she tries to attack. Shoot before she does. If you use a first-person view attack, you should be able to strike from between containers. You'll have an element of surprise on your side. The handgun's effects vary depending on where you manage to land a shot. Aim for the head for the highest degree of damage. Use the first-person view to take aim. Who is she anyway?
That scout knife had Spetsnaz written all over it, but...
Spetsnaz? That's the special ops of the Soviet group. So she must be Russian?
Who knows? All I'm sure of is that she shoots like a commando.
Be careful. Snake, you're not the only one with a gun. If you don't take cover, you'll get hurt. Hide behind something. She may be hiding too, but you have a clear shot whenever she decides to attack. Use the first-person view attack.
safe, right, Snake? Hang in there, Snake.
I've been with the unit since I was born. I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents. The unit is my life, my family. We've shared everything, all the bad and all the good. I have no one, nothing except the unit. Nothing else matters to me. Whoever you are, you're not stopping us.
If you use a first... effects vary. Snake, get rid of that light. You can't see anything with that glare. Shoot it out or you're a sitting duck. If you use a has grenades. You can't stay in one place. Keep moving around and you'll be safer. Snake.
The ship appears to be under their control. The men have Russian gear, but I haven't been able to find out anything else about their origin.
I know who they are.
You do?
We've ID'd the old man,
Who is he?
Sergei Gerlukovich.
Gerlukovich, one of Ocelot's allies.
Yeah, the GRU colonel. He's the one Ocelot was supposed to meet up with after Shadow Moses.
They're after Metal Gear.
Everything's changed. This is not going to be as simple as we thought.
You could say that. I saw a surveillance remote just now. It looked like the Cypher.
A Marine Cypher T?
No, Army.
First the Marines, then the Russians, now the Army?
You're right. This isn't gonna be simple.
Snake, there's something I have to tell you.
What?
We didn't dig up this info about the new Metal Gear on our own. Not like usual.
How did you find out then?
It was a tip. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous? You've never trusted those. Why would you start now?
I have a younger sister, a stepsister. We have different parents. I only knew her for 2 years.
You've never mentioned her before. So?
The sender of the tip was EE.
EE?
Her name is Emma, but I always call her EE.
Emma? Emmerich?
Yeah, it just caught my eye, you know. I figured it was a coincidence, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. There's really no one out there who knows about her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Over 10 years ago.
You think it's a trap? To lure us out here?
I don't know. After I got the tip, I did break into the Pentagon system to get confirmation.
Okay.
Watch your back, Snake. Maybe I screwed up.
I've got a light-equipped USP. I can take them on now. There's no ammo, but it takes a 9mm, just like the Marines' M9. I'll find those somewhere around here.
Don't raise too much racket with that thing.
I hear you.
She's not dead, is she?
No, just knocked out.
Good.
Looks like a little angel, doesn't she?
What's gotten into you?
Nothing.
Sleeping Beauty may have been awakened by Prince Charming's kiss, but you better not try it here.
I'm with you. Besides, I've had enough of tomboys.
Hey, Snake, you found a handgun.
It's a decent one. USP.
The USP fires real bullets, not the knockout rounds the M9 uses. You know that, right? The USP isn't equipped with a suppressor either. If you fire it when there are enemies nearby, they'll probably hear it. Keep that in mind. Having the USP will make combat easier, but being undetected is still the best way to go, okay? Snake, Metal Gear is in the holds below the tanker's deck. Go down! The Cypher's what it looks like. A flying surveillance saucer. It's an unmanned aerial vehicle used for ground and ocean surveillance, and it also assists in communication. It can take off and land vertically, and uses a ducted airstream from its rotors and the surrounding shroud to fly. The one you saw was the type used by the Army, if I recall, but I can't see the Army officially cooperating with a top-secret Marine Corps project.
No, which means that there's someone besides us and the Russians that are interested in the new Metal Gear prototype.
Cyphers can stay airborne for about 3 hours, so there should be an integrated mobile ground station controlling its flight pattern and output nearby. It's got to be on land. I'll bet you anything it's disguised as a regular truck or something, driving along Riverside. Let me check it out.
Good call.
Move the left stick toward a wall.
Oh, Snake, you want to save? Acquaintances agree, friends argue. And that's a straightforward one. The better friends you are, the more openly you can disagree with each other. So feel free to present a counterpoint if you don't agree with what I'm saying. Argue away.
Sure, all right.
Not a promising start. Okay, forget what I said. Just go along with my advice. You want to save, Snake?
Okay, Snake. Stay out of trouble.
There's somebody there.
When you're flattened against a surface behind... Do you want to save, Snake? Do you know the saying, one forgets the hurt once the wound is healed? And that, of course, means, oh, where'd I put that piece of paper?
Did you say something?
No, nothing. Forgetting the pain when the wound's healed means, that you have to get better fast. Yeah, that's it. So stock up on those rations and bandages.
Is that really all it means?
Hey, I'm the expert here. Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Okay, see you, Snake.